Hello, Facebook Live. Happy Monday to everybody, and thank you for joining us for another edition of Restored Couple. On the couch with Restored Couple. As my wife always likes to say, we are interviewing faith-filled dope people in Columbus who are making an impact. And here today we have Mr. Jimmie Bell, former OSU football player, former professional football player, media personality, consultant, author, empowerment speaker, you name it, he's probably done it.
Somebody did they research? I don't know if I'm gonna call you a stalker, Big T. You been stalking me? T been stalking me?
Oh, you know, you put on that Buckeye uniform. I might hit on you a little bit. Thanks for being here with us today, man. And we really appreciate you coming out.
Humbled at the opportunity, humbled at the invitation.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to be here.
And we appreciate you. We surely do. So my first question would be is, where are you from?
I'm originally from Youngstown, Ohio.
Okay.
Born and raised northeastern Ohio. And mom is a retired detective sergeant out of Youngstown.
Oh.
Dad is a retired from Lordstown, followed his sister from Montgomery, Alabama, but actually it's not Montgomery. They say it's from Zion, but Zion is the closest town, right? How they do in the country. But actually they're not from Zion. I forgot the little town they're from that nobody would ever know. So they say Zion because you know what I'm saying, that whole thing. And I have an older sister. I have 2 adopted brothers and sisters younger that are actually my biological cousins, and came to Columbus, Ohio in '92 to earn a football scholarship to get my play ball, bang some hands to get my degree. So I'm originally a Youngstown, Ohio, northeastern Ohio boy to the core. Mob, murder, and football.
Okay. So why, you say you got your scholarship with Ohio State, and anybody who knows me, you know how I feel about them. Being a Michigan fan, so that's enough said with that. Why OSU? Oh, it's almost like that. Hater.
Excuse me. I feel like I'm getting sick on the flight now.
Oh no!
But first, it was a very interesting journey. I was an Ohio State fan.
Okay.
Period. And I had relatives that came to Ohio State, so I used to come up as a young boy and act like I was older and kick it in Columbus. So when I was getting recruited, obviously you get, well not obviously, but you get 5 visits as you're getting recruited. One of my visits was Ohio State, but one of my visits was Georgia Tech. That was actually my first visit. I went down there. The visit I went to was the Georgia Tech game. Now this is in '92.
Big rivalry.
What's that? Absolutely, major rivalry.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Atlanta is still Atlanta. It's always been Atlanta, but now in the past 30 years, it's been popping, popular, popping. But man, I got down there, man, them Georgia Peaches got a hold of me. Y'all remember? What's the Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy movie? Harlem Nights?
Harlem Nights.
When dude was with Sunshine. She said, tell your mom I'm not coming home. Click. Yeah. I called home and said, Mom and Dad, I'm coming to Georgia Tech. Click.
Georgia Peaches.
Literally. I was like, hey, man, I'm committing. Click.
Yeah.
And at the time, Bobby Ross and Dennis Green were the next 2, supposed to be pro guys coming from college. Well, Bobby Ross sat there and told me, I'm not going to the pros. So I'm like, man, I'm going. Like, boom, boom. That was my first visit. I did all of this on my own. And probably a week after, or maybe 2 weeks after, I still went on my other 2 visits. About a week after, he ended up going to the league. He ended up going to the NFL. And in the midst of that, I think my third visit was Ohio State. So it ended up being a visit with my homies, Corey Stringer, LaShawn Daniels. We played against each other, and we all ended up, him and Lorenzo Styles, it ended up being their big weekend, and we just pretty much kind of committed together. But I knew in my mind, if it was always an Ohio State thing.
Yeah.
I just kind of got caught up in the
It's the recruiting process.
and I got saved.
Yeah.
Who know how things would have ended up if I went down to Georgia Tech. But it was a cool experience. So that's how I got to Columbus.
Right. So, what was it like? You know, you played for John Cooper, right?
I'm a Coop's kid.
John Cooper. He took a lot of heat because he took a lot of L's at Michigan.
That's it.
But he recruited a lot of talent. And I remember those teams.
Absolutely.
You know, but I think, what was it like as a player playing for John Cooper, and yet, because I know as a player you heard all of the criticism.
Yeah, and we knew it. So the criticism was honest, and the criticism primarily was only we couldn't get past Michigan, and it was all mental. So it wasn't like something that people it wasn't real. Right. We knew what it was. And we knew what it was, right? So we knew that the coaches would clam up a little bit towards the end of the season. My dad in the Lordstown plant used to always ask me, the fellas want to know how you guys are going to be. I said, well, ask me about the 8th game of the season. Because I knew it was going to happen. We're going to whip tail. Yeah. Like, that's just how we were, I played in the Miami/Alabama era of Ohio State, right? Like there was nothing like it with Coach, that energy that Coach Coop brought, not only to Ohio State, but the whole Midwest. So, one thing one benefit to Coach Coop, there was a serious mature nature to the Coach Coop regime. He didn't coach much, but he empowered his coaches to coach. And a huge difference, and I think an advantage that we got, is that we got coached by the best coaches. Right, so we weren't just taught, like even now, excuse my spit, it's like,
oh no, you're good,
like
bro.
A pastor over here spitting in the front row. It's like it's like when I see these high schoolers, these guys teaching these kids, they're always teaching them plays, right? They're teaching them where to be. And I say, well, the success isn't so much where to be, it's me or someone else training someone else how to get there. Right? It's how do you get there? Because you can't dictate. You're not going to be in an exact place. And so we had some amazing coaches that went on to be head coaches in the NFL, end up being head coaches of major Division I colleges, end up being national champions at other colleges. Those were the guys who coached us. So it was empowering. Even the guys that they recruited at one time, they were almost like uncles. Even as kids, right? They were uncles. So the hustle and the game that you got, it was passed down. So when cats came in, you were indoctrinated into the fold, almost like gang hood activity, right? Come on in. This is who you talk to. This isn't who you talk to. This is who you holler at. You need a jacket. We used to get guys from Florida. They used to come up like they had shorts and t-shirts. Brother, you in Ohio.
They getting ready to feel the pain.
Oh, they about to feel a pizzang, right? So they had to get stuff. And the fellas were we took responsibility of each other.
Well, that's awesome to hear. I think it's interesting hearing that, because as fans, we don't see all of that. We don't know anything about the camaraderie, what it is, what goes on in the locker room. For us, we're filling up the stadium, and we're just screaming.
Even the reality of fandom is goofy, right? Like, and I live in a harsh, it ain't harsh to me, but for other people it's hard. I live in a harsh reality of truth, right? I really, I live my life by the truth that sets you free, right? In the midst of me being an idiot, I'm like, hey, I'm being an idiot, right? Like I'm never the guy justifying things. But with fandom, people try to justify their position in fandom. So sometimes I'll ask people, you're right, the chatter of Coach Coop is that he was this bad coach. And I'll be like,
really was.
Like, what are you talking about? Like, we lost one game a year to Michigan, who was dope back then. They may not have been better than us because we were low, but they weren't. For instance, you take Coach Erb, who I love, every year minus the first year he's been here, he lost to a team that we shouldn't have lost to. Every year.
Mind-boggling.
every year, and people aren't honest about it. I'm like, dude, we lost to Michigan. Like, give it a break. But he's looked at as if he's this rotten, awful coach. And he's not. Like, if you're honest about things, man, he changed the whole dynamic of Midwest football, period.
Oh, yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Oh, I remember those teams.
Guys weren't recruiting the Florida dudes, and the only guys that were really recruiting nationally to a certain degree was Notre Dame. And it was a Notre Dame thing. Yeah. But Coach Coop, in my opinion, opened that door to get a lot of these cats from other areas.
Before we move on a little bit from OSU, and I can talk about them all the time, I tune in. Just to hate. It hasn't done me good. It hasn't helped me. But if I'm breathing, I'm hating on them high.
Right, you better though.
That's just the way it is.
You better.
I'm hating on them.
You better. I want that gamemanship. Come on, baby. I want that gamemanship. Stop playing.
Oh my God.
Matter of fact, I'm irritated that Coach Day got 2 or 3 of y'all cats. I'm like,
what was that?
Bro, and this is the deal. People always ask me,
Coach Madison,
they're asking me, Jim, how do you think Coach Day is going to be? I said, well, I don't know. We've been in a blessed position, and this is the first time we've been in a precarious position. Well, think about it. It hasn't really just been Urban. We went from Woody Hayes to Earl Bruce, from Earl Bruce to Coach Coop. Coach Coop was the only non-Ohio guy, but he was so innovating that he still progressed. Then we went from Coach Coop to Coach Trussell. Then we went from Coach Trussell to Urban Meyer. Those are all Ohio influenced guys.
Oh yeah.
So they understood what the Buckeye leaf meant. They understood the history. Your guys' problem when Lloyd left. Instead of just getting somebody from the inside and let it roll, y'all went and brought somebody from the outside. Michigan, Ohio State, there's a couple other schools, I'm talking 1 or 2, that even the coach isn't bigger than the program. All of these other places, the coach is the program. Even Alabama is regional. As dope as they are, they're regional. They're not a national program. If Nick leaves, no one knows what the expectations of Alabama are going to be.
I have to get Dabo swinging now.
So, Dabo's still regional. Dabo still has to show me, like, listen, brother, they just graduated in the draft a class of 4 defensive All-American defensive linemen for 3 years. Like, no one does that.
That's rare.
Like, no one gets that foundation for that long nowadays.
No.
People don't get that. Means everything in your locker room. It means everything. Now you got brand new leaders. Right, you got new guys that's never, the heat of the responsibility is now on them. It's different when you can be casual and the heat ain't on you and I can go get my game on and woo, I'm killing it. Now all the heat's on you, it's like, oh geez, I can't screw this, man. Expectations will kill the cat if you allow it. So that I'm very interested to see how Dabo does this year without all of that leadership. It's a rebuilding.
He's got the talent, but like you said, it's
very talented.
I will say this one last thing about the OSU Michigan game. In the years that you were there, OSU, they were. I still think that they had superior talent for the most part.
Oh, they did. I think it was 1 year Michigan may have had better talent, or comparable.
Here's why I always felt Michigan had a chance to beat them. Because first of all, I would look at their schedule, and they would go out and play the Washington Huskies. Everybody else, they would load it up with some cupcakes. And Michigan was the one team on their schedule that could cause them problems in the trenches on the offensive and the defensive lines. And I believe that's why they could stick with them and they could hang in there with them. And as you know, your boy falls down, Ty streaks.
But this is the deal, though, Big Dog.
Straight to the league. Straight to the
move on after this. But y'all had a belief that you could feel that y'all never, ever thought that y'all were going to lose to us. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that you guys always had 3 or 4 pretty awesome Ohio guys. For some reason,
Charles Woodson,
Charles Woodson, Marcus Ray,
Desmond
Howard, Elvis Garback, a lot of other guys that we don't know, defensive line, offensive line. So even in that Ty Streets game, when we had every year, we pretty much, a couple years y'all blew us out of the water and y'all shit.
But
that game, everyone who was watching it knew we were going to win it. If you looked at their sideline throughout the whole game when we beating y'all tail, they never thought they were going to lose that game. Wow. They just didn't know when it was going to come through. Can't make it up. Can't make it up.
Wow.
It was a crazy belief.
Well, that certainly changed when the senator came to town. And I knew it. I knew it was going to happen when I saw his first press conference. No, your boy, Jim Tressel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He knew the game.
Oh, yeah. So you leave, and your career at OSU's over, and now you're in the league.
Yeah.
And I saw you with the Chargers. That is my team. That is my team. And you were talking about, the recruitment process and everything in college, the camaraderie, and how the leaders there were trying to help you.
Yeah.
I would think, and I'm asking you this because I don't know, but in the NFL, you're coming in to try to take somebody's job.
Yeah.
So are they forthcoming?
Yes. It's very similar to college. You gotta understand, college dudes they want to play too. You see what I'm saying? So don't get it twisted. Like, dudes want to play too. Dudes want their shot. And we're homeboys. And it's the same thing. They want the best for you as an individual. They want the best for the team in winning, and they want the best for themselves. It's the same exact thing. Even recruiting in the pros is very similar to these guys know you from when you played in high school. Sometimes they know you from junior high. Wow. These coaches matriculate through college to the pros, from college to the pro. So they've seen you, they've heard about you. That's why sometimes some of these guys you never hear about if you really look at their journeys. Some of these coaches and where they coach, it coincides with where these fellas are from, right? So you get a lot of East Coast guys getting chances with the Giants, the Jets, and Carolina and Atlanta, because they're coast guys. And then the same thing in the Midwest, and the same thing on the coast. It's the same exact thing. But I'll never forget. And it was one of the most humbling, embarrassing experiences. I had a hard time from college to pros, just like I did from high school to, it almost took me a little extra to understand the speed and what the game meant. But when I went to the pros, I remember I was having this terrible day. And Keith Hamilton, who I told you about, with his ghetto self, he came up to me, was like, JB, listen, Mefford, we like you. We like you. But we can't keep you if you're doing that. Wow. Yeah, he was like, man, come on, man. Pick, he cut it. Pick your up. Let's go. You feel what I'm saying? Now back then they wasn't making the same money, but he's fine. He's set. He know what his money look like. He know what such and such and such.
He didn't have to do that.
No. Right. He didn't have to do that. I'm a rook.
Yeah,
he didn't have to do that. He cared enough to get in my tail and be like, come on, man. Yeah. So believe it or not, cats is clawing and they fighting for that money. They fighting for that check. But, I think that, and people don't understand that locker room. That's what a lot of depression, when cats get done playing, it comes from. It's a camaraderie and an understanding that some people don't understand, man. That locker room, it locks guys in. It's kind of a fellowship that is kind of like no other.
Yeah. So your football career's over.
Yep.
Come back to Columbus.
Yep.
Now, what made you become like a motivational speaker?
Okay.
Going into schools.
Gotcha. Quick. So I'm at the Chargers. I'm with Junior Seau.
My dude.
Yeah. Played with Junior Seau. Jim Harbaugh, your dude. He
my dude.
You remember Natron Means?
Natron Means.
Then that was my era. And man, Teddy Bruschi, if you remember when Junior died, Teddy got on TV, and this is one of my first examples when I started speaking. And Teddy was talking about Junior and how one time the Patriots trainer called and was like, "Hey man, you got to get Junior." Teddy like, "What you talking about? What I got to do with him?" He said, hey man, this dude want to work out at 3 o'clock every morning. And Teddy like, okay. And the trainer was like, bro, if Junior want to be there at 3, that mean I got to be there at 2. But the thing was, when Teddy told that story, I had been speaking on that, doing whatever it takes for years. Because I was telling the same story, how I have I call it my what if bag, and I teach people to live their life with the light what if bag. Because a what if bag are opportunities you come into your life that you don't put 100% of everything that you have. It doesn't matter if it works out your way. It's just that you can walk away with your head up and your head up and your chest out, right? In Junior, I was telling people how when you love something enough to do whatever it takes. And I was telling them, Junior was up at 3 watching film, working out, and at breakfast at mandatory 7 o'clock, hopping. I'm talking hopping. I ain't talking just there. I'm talking Junior lighting it up, playing his music, his little, he going off like happy, he's a good soul dude. And I was just like, in my brain, I said, man, God, there's something in me that's attracted to me the same way football is to him. And that's when my journey began to figure it out what that was. And when I first came out, I thought it was real estate, it was business, but it still is. My brain works in that type of perspective. But when I started to understand the influence of my soul on people, I remember one time, I'm in the title business, so I'm going around calling on mortgage companies. Someone asked me to speak at this boys camp. It was a little league team. I think it was the upper guys who spoke. I think they were in Bexley or something like that. Well, I end up a couple years later, I end up going to a mortgage company, talking to a dude. About 3-4 years later, talking to a dude, and he's like, "You don't even remember me." He said, "But you spoke to my son's group like 3 or 4 years ago. It may have been 5 years. Like, because the kid was in high school." I'll tell you a story. He said, my son is in St. Charles and is tough. He says to this day, he lives by the words that you told him back then. I can't make this up.
That is awesome.
Can't make this up. And that's when I think at the minimum I begin my journey in my confidence in who I actually already knew God was in me. I've always been what someone would consider weird. I've always had a perspective that made me look at things from this broad whatever, right? Even when one awesome experience that I had that helped me was when I was the #1 pick in the NFL Europe draft. You remember NFL Europe?
Yeah, I do.
Well, I went over there, and in my brain I shouldn't have went because I needed to get bigger, faster, and stronger. And I knew that I shouldn't. I heard that, Jimmy, your journey isn't going to be like everyone else's journey. So the football journey, it's like you do this, and if you really want to make it, then you do this, and you keep fighting for this, right? And I think I did miss out on opportunities by doing things other people's way instead of doing what I know God put in me. Now, at the time, I wasn't confident to listen. I don't even think I was totally in position to hear or really know what it was. But when I had an opportunity to go overseas and see how people operate in a confident freedom over there, they operate in a foundation unlike we do over here. I think sometimes we operate in this tunnel thing over here in the States. Even so much that they live in these little towns. And I remember being in Norway. I spent an extra week in Norway. Spent 48 hours in a Frankfurt airport to give myself this experience. And I'm a weirdo, bro. I got some weird stuff.
48 hours?
Yeah, 48 hours with all my belongings. I'm talking everything, because I had to pack up everything and take it over there. I'm still trying to make it in the league. But in these places, they're telling me about their little towns. Go here. How long are you going to be here? They know everything. And I'm sitting here like, man, how many people can with passion and knowledge articulate where they're from? How could they passionately tell someone why they the where they are. Like, I know why I'm from Youngstown. I know the history of Youngstown. Not just the stuff, but why I'm the way I am because of it. I can tell people why they're the way they are from Youngstown because I know where I'm from, right? I don't think a lot of people, and even the states, the dichotomy and the culture of the United States doesn't even really allow you the freedom to do that unless you take that freedom. You see what I'm saying? So I knew I always was weird. People would call it weird. I always knew that my mind flowed a different way through my soul, but I think that was the beginning of my journey to in my freedom, to allow myself particular liberties. And the more and more that I gained more access to Christ, it just got stronger, it got better. And I say better, not like I'm better like this and this.
No, I know what you mean.
But it means just more confident in who I am, so I can grow in me being the best me according to Christ. So
yeah, and that's what's really important is just knowing that God has put something in you, and you have to get to know Him. You have to have a relationship with Christ.
Absolutely.
And that's what's really important.
And the tough part, and part of my journey, guys, is like, even as a motivational speaker, I use motivational speaker as a baseline just because people don't really, that's all they know. If I told someone I was an empowerment consultant, they'd be like, what the heck is that?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But God specifically told me that I'm an empowerer.
Right.
So I went and spoke at a middle school today.
Yeah.
And my soul knows when I leave, they're not just excited about doing something. I've empowered them to do something that they may have never thought that they could do.
Right.
I got an inbox from a lady, can't make this up. I spoke to about 300 boys today. They didn't give me,
What was it?
in Picktown.
Okay.
This lady hits me up in my inbox. I can almost read it to you. I could. And she says, my daughter told me that you were at the school, blah, 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 blah. And it was an amazing impact. And I said, man, I'm humble, and that's interesting. And she's like, why? I said, because all I did was talk to the boys.
Wow.
All I did was talk to the boys. And she said, well, it gets around.
Gets around.
So her daughter. So that's my thing. And as a consultant, listen, I ain't no cheerleader. I'm a suck in a tutu. So I ain't nobody's cheerleader. I don't need no cheerleader. If a woman ever want to get with me, and if it's in her soul to cheerlead for somebody, we ain't gonna work, because you're gonna be unfulfilled. Like, I'm cool. Right? I don't need no cheerleader, but if you say you want this, then I'm one of the best people to help you to get there.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I don't care if it's a relationship, if it's a marriage, if it's a job, if it's a whatever. I'm gonna be the best person, and I don't like hold accountable. I'm not into that. Like, I'm talking, if you like, let me help you see how dope you are. That's me.
Wow.
Let me help you. Let me help show you. And sadly, in our faith, we live, and listen, this ain't new, but we live in the religiosity of our faith, where the most freeing commitment that we made has confined us. And we operate in a confinement of Christ, where really, if you think about it, I'm talking biblically, think about it, our relationship with God is such so we can be free under Christ to experience ourselves according to what He already put in us. That's why the Old Testament, He'd be like, man, y'all tripping for? Just love me.
Yeah.
You tripping. You want the rules. You want the regulations. You want the kings. You want to serve idol God. God ain't told nobody to do nothing but to love on me.
Yeah.
Even Jesus said it in the New Testament. He said, love no other God but me. And what's the second one?
Love your neighbor.
Love themselves. Now the hard part with that one is that most people don't love themselves. They think they do. Because they want to feel good. We all do. We're humans, right? We want to feel good. So we're always searching for that feeling, and we calling it loving ourselves. Like, man, you don't love yourself. I don't want you to love me like you love yourself. I'm cool. I require maximum output.
Right.
You feel me?
Yeah, I do
require
feel
maximum
That's
output.
pretty deep. I do feel you, and it's good that you speak openly about your faith, because I do too. And in the world, in the culture of the world now, you know, we need more of that.
Yeah.
We need more people to come out and say, I love God.
Yeah.
And I love people.
And you just said it. At least I was going to say at least for me, but it's not. It's I think it's a gift for me. So it's not fair for me to expect things out of other people according to my gift. I'm a lover.
Right.
Like I'm literally a lover.
Mm-hmm.
Now I believe that we all love through our gift,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think we really know what that true experience of love is. I think that we have put love into this physical realm, and my love for you is based upon how you make me feel, which is nuts.
Yeah, that is nuts, and I certainly don't.
You feel me?
Yeah, that's not how it was supposed to be.
Right, but to be totally honest, that's how we operate in the religiosity of our faith. Even in the confining, think about this. We get more sex, drugs, and videotape. What's that movie, Sex, Lies, and Videotape? Yeah. In church than we do anywhere else. Think about it.
Oh.
Every weekend, don't screw, don't drink, don't whatever. Every weekend, don't screw, don't drink, whatever. Every weekend, don't screw. It's like, God dang. A quarterback, and you guys can appreciate this being in athletics, a coach doesn't coach his star quarterback to not do stuff. He teaches his star quarterback to be as amazing as he created him to be.
Yeah, you don't want to shackle him.
Right? But we operate in church as if we're pieces of crap. I can't trust you, T. I can't trust you, T. So you know what? Don't have a meeting with that girl with your door open. But you know, with your door closed. Meet with 17 different people, because chances are you're going to hit it. It's like, dang, you think that'll be?
Yeah. No.
Bring your money to the altar and such and such and such. Wait. So you telling me that God brought Christ to let me know that he trusts me with his love in every avenue except for my cheese?
Oh.
So I can hear God in everything except for my cheese? You feel what I'm saying?
I feel it.
It's and that's the freeing part, even in, you know, and I do, listen, I believe Christ Jesus that's me. I don't care where I go. I did a consulting for Red Bull. They know. The kids today in public school, they know. Right. I don't care, like, because that's just flat out who I am, and I believe that our power is in it. And I'm not trying to get anybody to see it my way. I'm trying to get you to see you through God's way. Right. You see what I'm saying? Okay. Not who Pastor Bubbalicious wants you to be, not who Pastor Cochise wants you to be, not who Apostle and all of this other stuff. Yeah. You feel what I'm saying?
I feel what you're saying.
We've created.
We're getting caught up in titles and
we wonder why we're suffering. Yeah. I just put a post today.
We got to keep our eyes on Jesus.
And we have to teach we have to give us the liberty to do that. You feel like we're not. I posted today, and I did this on purpose to piss people off. I said, you Christians, I see your political stance. I said, you Christians, I see your, I forgot what I said. I said, I see your something stance, something else. I said, but I'm still looking for your Christ love. I'm looking for your Christ compassion. I'm looking for your Christ understanding. I'm looking for your Christ empathy. And I'm looking for Christ, Christian. Because I don't have a need for Christian. Right? Christian is just a title. It's just much as a title as anyone else has made. You feel what I'm saying?
Oh, I do. I follow you.
You know, and we won't get into the history and the geography of it because I don't want to scare nobody. But it's Christ. I've had people get mad at me because they said, Jim, so what's your faith? I said, I believe Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior. No, really, what's your faith? What do you follow? I said, I believe in Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior. So they get mad at me because I didn't say Christianity, and I knew what I was doing to them. I could have easily gave in. But I'm like, no, bro. I need to see your love. I need to see your Christ.
Yeah.
I need to see you with the tax collector. I need to see you pick up that stone and look at the mother clowns like this with it. Go ahead and get her.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, throw the first one.
Mm-hmm.
You feel what I'm saying?
Christ is your example.
Yeah, and we're using politics as our example. We're using doctrine. That's what I said. Christ, I see your doctrine. We're using doctrine as our example, and we're eliminating Christ and God out of the equation, even in the empowerment piece. That's where I was going with it in the first place. If you look in the Bible, it's all, listen, God ain't tripping on you. He ain't tripping on Elizabeth screwing up. He ain't tripping on John. He ain't tripping on people messing up. He is tripping if you eliminate him out of your life.
Yeah. He doesn't expect us to be perfect. That's why we have grace. But you have to acknowledge him.
In everything. Just period.
Absolutely.
And we don't realize we're yelling him, but we're not acknowledging
with our
him.
mouth. Yeah.
We ain't acknowledging
We're not honoring him.
We more than we
The way
know.
that we live.
We're trying. It's almost like you were talking about the quarterback again. It's like a quarterback not trusting his offensive line.
All right.
It's like, what's your offensive line for? If you're just gonna step back and take off, why are they even there to block for you?
Absolutely.
If you're not gonna pass the ball to the wide receivers, then what are they there for? So if you're never gonna make a mistake, where's God in it? But if you're not living free, then the chance, and I'm not encouraging people to screw up, I'm just giving an example.
No, we're not.
Right, but I'm just saying, if you're not living a lifestyle of liberty according to your individual journey in Christ, you ain't never had to have a one-on-one with God because you feel bad about something you did. Like you ain't never screwed. Like you telling me
Yeah. Don't walk around with that condemnation. Like God is merciful, and that's what grace is for.
Absolutely, believe in the grace, love, mercy, and forgiveness.
Absolutely.
Right? That's the found. That's what we chose.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's how I operate. That's how we chose.
Talking about, so you have, I have two more questions for you. Big Bernie guy, huh?
Sanders. Again, I'm a truth guy, and I'm a weird. This is another weird part about me. You know how they say most people operate more on this side of their brain or more on that side? I think I'm literally in the middle. And I think it throws people off, right? It throws people off. So when I started to consider Bernie was before the election. I don't even know where this came up at, but I saw this video clip. He was in Killer Mike's, this rapper, Atlanta rapper. He's an activist and everything.
We
in his barber
that.
chair. So it was like a 5-part series. And I'm listening to this mofo and I'm like he sound like what you would think a politician should be. At least back in the day, was I can remember, before I was even in, I can remember people talking to the people about the people and what's best for the people and this person not being for the people. And I can, you know what I'm saying? He's talking truth.
Yeah.
And he's talking truth to a particular community, and he's not afraid. He was talking about the African American community, and this is why I think it's wrong, and this is what I think needs to fix it. I'm like, God dang, bro. I haven't heard that in politics. So when it came to election time, and I saw in my mind what I thought was going on, and this is what I think President Trump was, and this is all conspiracy, but I think it's true. I think President Trump, whether financially or otherwise, was implanted into the political scene to help Hillary to help give Hillary a lift. Because Hillary is she historically is an awful politician. Like, I'm not saying, I don't know the woman enough to know, I'm talking politics. You're awful. Part of President Obama is that he was likable. Like, it's just what it is, right?
Oh, yeah.
He was a likable dude. He's a likable dude. And he was almost blameless. Like, he was clean, right? And Hillary and she played too much. Her politics were obvious. Like, it'd be a poll out about her needing to cry, and she'd literally get on TV and cry. There's politics about her numbers, about numbers in the black community, and then she get on a black channel and talk about she get hot sauce in her pocket. Like it was like, you are goofy. Bro, she was goofy. So
Couldn't make the lie sound good.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, y'all gonna miss the boat. Y'all gonna see, now you got an a-hole.
They missed the boat.
They got an obvious non-passive aggressive a-hole. Then you got a passive aggressive a-hole. Yeah. And now you're asking people to choose between a-holes. You know what I told people? I never forget. I was in Naples, Florida, Marco Island, with a homegirl of mine, Rusha Brown. What's up, boo? And, she's like, man, bro, Donald Trump, he got that Hillary. I said, she ain't gonna win. I said, Donald Trump gonna win. She said, why? I said, because y'all playing politics against itself. Coach Coop used to always say this. He said, you can't beat the system. He used to tell us this all the time. He said, he Arkansas chitlin country. Like, and I'm serious. Like, he would eat a bowl of, like, if he had a bowl of chitlin hot sauce, Coach Coop would get down if he had to.
Wow.
And he'd always say, well, Jim, you can't beat the system. Because technically in trouble. He's like, you can't hustle. And I said, man, you can't beat the system.
Right.
So now y'all trying to rally with Hillary because you don't like Donald Trump. Well, now you're in the game.
Yeah.
Where what it was with Bernie was, he was that figure that was speaking our language. He was speaking a language that people can make a defined you know what I'm saying? It was a defined boom in his language and what he's talking and such and such and such. So now you got people who are embarrassed to be Republicans, embarrassed to be evangelical, people who didn't want to make excuses in their faith for following a cat that was obviously whack.
And that's why the polls were wrong.
Did you saying?
Yeah.
And well, no, they were right.
The polls were wrong because you had a lot of people that didn't want anybody to know that they were voting for Donald Trump.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. But okay, I got where you're coming from. I thought you were coming from another perspective.
Oh no.
But yeah. So now people who actually would have considered not voting their party lines, if it was a blameless person, so in superheroes you always got a diametrical opposite.
Right.
The villain is always something opposite.
Yeah.
Well, we gave two villains and told people we gave people choose, right? And people was hitting it. They're like, man, I'm voting. I said, okay, cool. I said, so they were hitting me with it. And I'm hustling. What's the lesser, Jimmy? I voted for the lesser of two evils. I said, yep. And I said, after you choose the lesser of two evils, what do you have? They said, evil. I said, I'm out. Ooh. I said, I'm out.
Ooh. Man,
bro, I'm out. And honestly, to this day, like, one thing I don't do, I don't play with my faith.
Right.
I'm not talking mistake. I'm talking, I don't make excuses for my faith. I don't do that, bro. Like, I think that's, if you in a room having a Roman orgy, you better acknowledge God in the middle of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't leave doors of injustice open. Like, I don't leave them cracked. Because if you leave them cracked, then you can, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. You open yourself up.
You can open that thing up.
Right.
You gotta close that door. You gotta acknowledge it. And in that thing, I wasn't willing to be responsible for the consequences of making that Donald Trump choice and that Hillary choice. I told people I made my choice. It didn't work out for me. My choice was Bernie Sanders. Well, Jimmy, I had a lady was crying in doggone BW3s because she was a woman of faith. And when I told her that, her and her husband couldn't, so they were making Republican faith excuses for Donald. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, a lot of that going around.
And I'm like, no, like y'all are missing. So they, man, these people, I love them, and they going in and such and such about. Well, you gotta choose. And I said, you ain't gotta do nothing. True story. I don't live by gotta do.
Right. You
can't box me in. I will adjust the relationship. I'm talking friendship, business based upon people boxing. I don't do you can't. I didn't vote for President Obama the first time. You know why? Because the fix was in. And I didn't agree with it. I felt as if people were forcing me to do something. So if you didn't vote for President Obama, you weren't black enough.
You weren't black.
And then if you didn't vote for him, you were racist. Right? And then you have President McCain, who is known as this historical maverick. They call him the Maverick. I'm the Maverick. I'm gonna fight for something. And you about the most docile candidate I've ever. I said, what the hell are you doing? And I'm neutral. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm neutral. And then Hillary Clinton polls are whack, and out of nowhere, this junior senator with no experience come out of nowhere. I'm like, oh, I'm out. I said, I ain't gonna be responsible for this. And I did vote for him the second time when he showed me that he can be president. You feel what I'm saying? And it doesn't mean that I wasn't excited like everyone else about the possibility and whether, I don't even get into how good or bad he was. I told people that the hope of the possibility of progression is more important than how he did or how anyone does, right? I don't really care because I just operate in such a level of truth. But that's my Bernie thing. Bernie was, and I don't know where he is now, but at the time, he was speaking a language that was so truthful, and I could see the fit. I could see what was happening, and I could see him getting elbowed out by people who thought they could, as Coach Coop would say, beat the political system. And I'm like, boy.
Well, the fix was in.
And the same thing's about to happen. Right. The same thing's about to happen. They think they're going to win. People who are upset with President Trump, and I say president because I want people to know what the hell's going on. He's your freaking president. If you're American, he's your president. Just like I tell people, you can say N-word all you want. You're saying nigger. You saying nigger.
Yeah.
You can say, oh, the N-word, no nigger. I don't want anyone to water down doo-doo. Right? I want people nah. They think that there's enough people who don't like President Trump to vote the other way. That's freaking insulting to me. And for anyone who knows what politics actually mean, and if you're in any cultural group other than white American male, you should be freaking insulted. You should be freaking insulted that you're not sitting here telling me what the so-called government is supposed to do for me. Because that's what it's for. Now, I don't live by people doing crap for me, but I'm just saying, if that's what you're talking about, holler at your boy. What's it worth to you? Right? That's what it is. That's history. You ever seen Games in New York? That's a great movie. I saw that. If people really want to know that was such a great depiction of government. That's how they were very honest. For being honest, it's kind of great. I'm thinking about it. Very honest. That's how it works. They're pandering for votes. Yeah. They're trying to get control and power. They're trying to run stuff. Okay, what's it worth to you?
Yeah.
What's it worth to you? Holler at me. Wow. I got it. Cha-ching. Help my cause out. What do you got? Let's get it. And we're sadly culturally as Africans in America, we're so behind the ball of how America works. We're we're looking for so much emotional validation that we're missing the boat. So America, just real quick, America, to me, America is created on a system, right, by people who don't even speak English, right? America is a system for commerce, for everybody across, like Game of Thrones, right?
Oh, yeah.
Winterfell is there to protect the Seven Kingdoms, right? That's what they're there for. And this kingdom produces this, and that one is the bank. They got the cheese. Well, that's America. This is what it's for. They got us believing that America is this its own place for us. Like, no, we're here to make money for everybody. That's what the media's for. That's what everybody's trying to move us all. Emotionally, I forgot where I was going. But yeah, next question.
Social media.
Where can people reach out to you on social media?
If you're brave enough to reach out to me.
They want to follow you, and you know, you're doing awesome things.
I'm teasing.
You're doing awesome things. You're empowering
teasing.
people. You're going into schools, you're talking to kids. And
yeah, if you guys want to get at me, you can get it at JimmieBellEmpowers.com. Also on social media platforms, Jimmie Bell, Jimmie. I always tell people I don't know that Y guy.
You don't know Y guy?
Putting out JMY, like, who is that? They can find me there. And if people ever want to get involved in fundraising, philanthropy, you know, personal development,
right,
coaching, or whatever, if you want me or someone that I know to come out to speak to your organization, I can help people. You know, that's what I do too. I'm a lover of the people, so I'm a connect. I call it loving the people. People say to me, Jimmie, you're a great networker. You have this great network. I'm like, nah, respect. I know where you're coming from, but I'm not. I said I love on the people. I'm actually writing a book called Loving on the People. And they say, well, what's the difference? I say, well, networking is when you're going out to find out what other people can do for you, which is nothing wrong with that.
Right.
You know, that's just fundamental business. There's nothing wrong with that. I said, well, loving on the people, though, is when I go out to learn as much as I can about an individual or a group so that I can be in a position to politic for them as if it's me, even if I don't benefit. You see what I'm saying?
I do see what you're
So that's loving on the people. So loving on the people is, you know, I'm sitting here and we talking. T, you done told me about a business venture. You done told me about something in your family. You done, and then on my other side, I'm like, oh man, hold on, let me call my dude who's such and such and such. Let me connect y'all. And then, you know, I set it up and I'm out. I'm gone. Ooh.
But in order to do that, you have to care about other people.
Bro, you got to dig in.
You have to love other people and not just yourself. You have to care about, and that is where it has its roots. In your heart, you love other people, which is what Jesus told us to do. Love your neighbor as yourself.
Period.
You wouldn't be able to do any of that. You wouldn't even think that way if you didn't have it in your heart.
Absolutely.
What's in your heart comes out. Jesus said, "From the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks."
I believe that.
So everything we say to people, how we treat people, when we interact with other people, it starts in the heart. So
100%.
You got any events coming up? Anything you'd like to promote and tell everybody about?
Well, actually, I do. On the
Tell us about it.
on the 26th in Polaris, there's a Monster Mash. My homeboy Marvin, he's an exec at Red Bull. He brings these American cars together at Polaris, Quaker State, and a foundation that I keep saying foundation, excuse me, nonprofit that I direct. It's called Beyond Ability Matters, and we promote community inclusion for individuals with neurological disorders like autism and Down syndrome and such and such and such. And I'm gonna be a celebrity judge for the Muscle Mash, and we're also going to be selling raffle tickets to sell monies. We also have these amazing cookies that we've partnered with Chocolate Cafe in Upper Arlington, and so we'll be selling those also to raise money for the organization. And yeah, I have other things going on, but we'll get into all that. Y'all, if y'all are interested, just hit me up, follow me, reach out to me. If y'all have any questions, I know some of y'all are over there shivering in your boots with some of the things I said, but I'm cool with it.
I think they're gonna be okay.
If they got further explanation, holler at your boy.
I think they're gonna be okay. Last thing, real quick before we let you go, about your family. Tell us a little bit about your family.
Married. I have 2 kids, Tatiana and Tiara, 13 and I'm saying it slowly because I always get it messed up. 11 in June.
Okay.
Let me see, January, February, March, April, May, June. I'm trying to figure out when I spit it out. January, February, March, April, May, July. I think it's June.
I still forget my mom.
Hey, bro. Absolutely.
I do. Well, man, we appreciate you coming and having an honest chat with us.
Appreciate you, baby.
Appreciate you, brother, man.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for all the truth.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you tell it like it is. And sometimes, you know, people, they embrace it. Sometimes they may run from it. But it's always better to just be honest, to be who you are.
Absolutely. For all of us. People, right. Listen, I say this. People are counting on us. And my thing is to empower other people to trust and believe in themselves according to the gift that God gave them in Christ.
Always starts.
Because if you look at it like this, every one of us has a trail to blaze. If you could imagine being in a brown field, like, so brown field is just open field with high grass, right? And my daughter, who may be at head level of the grass and she needs to get through it, she can't get to where she needs to be in her journey until you blaze your trail first. Right? You got a lot of people sitting around not blazing their trail, right? And you got other people standing behind you waiting to get through your path that you were supposed to have burnt that field in front of them, right, so that path can be easy for them, so they can get to where the heck they need to go. Right. So that's my thing. I want to empower people to love themselves enough to be who Christ called them to be according to their gift. Period, point blank.
You know, I couldn't have said it any better myself, and I think that what you just said is important, and it means a lot. You don't hear a lot of people out here trying to empower other people. They're not doing something. You just don't see it. It's all, everybody's out there. Yeah. But anyway, man, thanks for coming and hang out with us.
Appreciate you, big dog. You inspired me. Look at them guns.
Hey, I got a little something over
there. Jeez, the horseshoe, baby.
You know. All right, Facebook. Have a good evening. Thank you for joining us, and see you next time. Adios. Remember to love God and love people.
Adios, amigos.
All right.
About an hour.
All right, man.